Progressing. Today's topic, delusion dissolves in the presence of a knowledge. Delusion dissolves, disappears in the presence of a knowledge. In the last time I talked about this person who sent an email to me. Think of it again, contemplate. That is why I say the consistent regular listening and learning, followed by contemplation and reflection, and the practice changes your entire life. You see that, if I read again, but I have a reaction, especially on my beloved. My mind can't accept his behavior sometimes. Now you can think of reaction. Reaction comes out of the delusion. See that. Reaction comes out of the delusion. Now pay attention how her mind changes. I'm trying. Glad I can see those reactions. That is the knowledge. Glad I can see those reactions, so I have to do something with that. Now you see that you have taken over the mind. That is reactive. I am not asking you for advice or any special practice. I hear all the ways how to fix my mind during your talks. Just wanted to admit. When I admit, there is an admission, there is a recognition that I have reactions and I'm very upset about it. The moment you have a recognition and a cognitive ability, the impact of the delusion goes up. And then what happens? Your mind starts moving towards the wisdom and the delusion dissolves. At least the half of the delusion is dissolved. I know, I admit that this reaction in my mind is not good. Think. That is the way to live. That is the way, that is what the Master is saying. We suffer because our view of reality does not match the actual reality. That is delusion. My view of reality, my view about you is one thing, and actual reality is something else. Now, many people have questions, my honey reacts, and then what should I do? Here is an answer. Answer is coming from you guys. That is what the revelation is. That is what the Eastern wisdom is trying us to reveal the knowledge from within. So we suffer from our view of reality. Our view of reality, ego, does not match the actual reality. So when I have that awareness and what we should do through self-inquiry, and the practice, we can dissolve the deluded thinking. This is what she did. And we have been doing. You have been sharing your experiences, which indicates that there is a change in your life. There is a change in your perception. The change in life took place because of the change of your perception. Remember this. Delusion means that, my view of reality. I stick to that reality. Why? First 7 factors. Do you remember all those 7 factors? Foolishness. See that my view of reality, because of the foolishness. Unexamined life. You can also say the foolishness is that I did not examine the way I am living on an autopilot. That is another way to say foolishness. Scattered mind. It results into scattered mind, distracted and disjointed, lacking mental clarity. That is why it is a scattered mind. So whenever you experience the mind is scattered, oh, there is no mental clarity. Let me think, what is the subject matter? Why the mind is scattered here and there? So you move into the higher level of awareness. But if the foolishness continued, means the unexamined life continues, the scattered mind will continue, and that results into an attachment, clinging. And that clinging creates a pain. What we want? We want a painless mind. Attachment always creates a pain in one way or the other way. What we are discovering, what we want to achieve, the painless mind. But if we continue with an attachment, the clinging creates the pain, and that pain is nothing but the emotional dependence. That is what the fourth factor is. Don't forget these factors. So we have an emotional dependence. Now, what is this? What happens with the emotional dependence? I have a false foundation of my life. You wake up in the morning, you remember honey. Why don't you remember yourself? What happened to you? No, no, no. No, I have to correct, my honey or my friend or this situation. It is not going to happen. I have a false foundation of my life. That is what is the emotional dependence is. I will explain in a different way so that whatever uh, you catch and your mind catches and absorbs into. So fourth is the emotional dependence and the journey continues. Then comes the selfishness. Then I become totally closed in myself. No, no, he has to change or she has to change. I'm not going to change. So you're stuck in your life. Life is a movement. And then you remember what happened to you 10 years ago. Your past memories, you recall the past memories. That is a life of delusion, selfishness. And what happens in the selfishness, I'm unable to think. That is what the intellectual paralysis is. That is the sixth one. And the intellectual paralysis means that I have a rigid views, crack and crumble. We say in our USA English, right views, crack and crumble, clinging to fixed assumptions about the stages of my life. I don't want to change. I don't want to move ahead. That is what the intellectual paralysis. So it's the six factors, and the seventh is chasing desires. My desires keep changing, and so the eighth and the ninth is the beginning of a wisdom. What is the eighth factor? I challenge the false assumption. Look at this person. The way she has written, she has sent an email. It is, I am challenging my false assumption. That is what she meant. I'm not asking you for an advice. I know that it will happen as I continue to listen these talks from the teachings, and I will be able to get rid of this delusion. So I have already understood that this is a false assumption. It is an indirect way of communication. It is an indirect way of communication. And you see that the moment you recognize, you have a cognitive ability, you have a recognition that I reacted, I admitted, and this is a false assumption. And now I need to work on this false assumption. Understand this. And when this happens, the life has to change. My perception of the entire world has changed, including myself, my honey, my relations, situations, country, everything changes. Can I see that Eastern wisdom is all about changing your perception? You living into that awareness where there is no false assumption. Can I redefine? Awakening is living, thinking, speaking, and acting in a right perception you live in meditation or mindfulness 24/7. You need not to do 1 minute of meditation or 5 minutes of meditation. That is the crazy stuff. Eastern wisdom is nothing but it changes the entire perception. It changes the worldview. It changes the personal view. What is personal view at this time? Selfishness, limitedness, painful mind. Perception changes, painless mind. I am a citizen of this cosmos. I am a part of this universe. I am not the center of the world. If I am the center of the world, emotional dependence, intellectual paralysis. Think. You have to contemplate and reflect. And the 9th verse we have understood last week, Satasangatve Nesasangatvam. So when you start challenging the false assumption in your intellect, then we have to continue to follow satsang, constant listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, and the practice. So first result comes as the detachment. You continue the journey, detachment results into dispassion. You continue the journey, the dispassion results into steadiness of the. There is a natural steadiness of the mind. I have to start this teaching you guys. So mind is naturally focused on this topic. There are no other thoughts, no other agenda at all. What that means, you are living in a moment. That is what we say, the natural steadiness of the mind. So because the worldview has already changed in your intellect, you are not in a hurry, you are not in a worry, you are not going after curry. Curry means the junk food. No worry, no hurry, no curry. We always say in India, no worry, no hurry, no curry. Curry here means the junk food, and worry and hurry, you already know it. No, you live into that state of extraordinary awareness all the time. It cannot be shown, it cannot be brought out. You live into that state. That is what the state of mindfulness and meditation. So if some of the teachers say that mindfulness and meditation is not a practice, yes, it is not a practice. You're right. But provided that I have understood the entire journey. So we have understood. Examine assumptions. So I'm asking what do you mean by challenging the false assumption? I'm going to the root of it. I'm trying to find out the cause and effect. Effect is reaction. What is the cause? My honey is not good. What I have to do whether honey is good or not? So you go on examining your mind. Does my life depends on honey? Does my mind depends on honey? Emotional dependence. So challenging the false assumption is a very subtle job in the mind. So out of the 7 factors, 1 factor can take over you anytime. And that is why we say the consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection is going to change your entire perception of the life. You are challenging the notion about the life stages. You contemplate why we chase society goals, why I chase the goal in the society. Questioning reveals what belief no longer matches the reality. So when I question false assumption, I question my reaction, I question my anger. I do not question the anger and the reaction of others. Nothing is going to happen, I tell you. It is the job of politicians, let them do it. We are not a politician. We are a seeker. Are you getting it? So I have to questioning what happens. Questioning in my head reveals what belief no longer matches the reality. And that is happening in your mind. That is what she wrote. False ideas loosen their grip. The possibility of accurate perception opens up. So at least you are calm and relaxed. The impressions of that reaction and anger still remains. Now I'm continuing the journey. So I question the falsehood. Can I use another word? So you have not an emotional mindset. You do not have a painful mindset. You don't have a reaction mindset. You have a discerning mindset. Did you understand that? Say yes. You don't have a painful mindset. You don't have a reaction mindset. You don't have an emotional mindset. What do you have? You have a discerning mindset. That is what the eighth verse speaks about. Discerning mindset in every affair. I took 3 vaccines yesterday, and in the morning, then I had this very severe fever, and I had to attend a session on this police academy. It was a graduation ceremony. So I started challenging the false assumption what it has to do with the fever. Don't do this in the beginning. And I attended it. And sooner I attended, I went there at the venue, that fever was not there. It happens. The higher consciousness takes over. I know the science can't believe it, but we have to, when you challenge your false assumption completely at the higher level. And once I returned, there was no fever at all. So normally, sometimes people say, no, I am a lot physically tired and mentally tired. That is why I cannot attend your session. No, that is why you must attend the session. Are you getting it? You have a false assumption. That is why you must attend the session, because you are alive. So think of this. So wake up from the dream. That is what the false assumption is. Another way to say. You wake up from the dream. So one dream is that I live in those 7 factors in my life. Attachment to the false views is the dream. Attachment to the false views is the dream. So we have understood the foolishness, lack of awareness, wandering mind, the lack of focus, attachment, the clinging, dependence, the external reliance, emotional dependence, the conditioned happiness, emotional, intellectual paralysis, the fixed mindset. Then I come to questioning the assumption, and the 8th we have already done. What we have done? That satsang, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, practice results into a sense of detachment. See, outer situation remains the same. My perception has changed. That is the beauty of the journey of the Eastern wisdom. What happens? Now, even if the situation continues to change outside, I am not going to disturb myself. That is the meaning of living in a higher awareness. So I have already done this session. Now, vayasi gate kahakam vikara. Now, the 11th, 10th verse, the Master is giving, Master is hitting hard on our mind to understand. So first line he hits our mind. Second line he says here is a dispassion. So now it's a mixture. Vayasi gate kah kam vikarah shushke nire kah kasara क्षीणे व्यक्तिः कः परिवारः ज्ञाते तत्त्वे कः संसार भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दम. If I translate into English, simple English, what is when youth is spent, my young age, when youth is spent, lustful days are there. When the water has evaporated, what the lake is there. You see the metaphor. When the water has evaporated, what the lake is there, and when the youth is spent, youth is gone, what lustful play is there? When the money is gone, what dependents are there? When the truth is known, when I know the real self, what empirical processes is there? What is empirical processes? Reaction, anger, anxiety, emotional dependence, etc. There is no chance. When the knowledge is awakened inside me, what knowledge? Knowledge of real self. We cannot continue the sensual life as we continued in our youth. It is gone. Water is evaporated. What lake is there? There is no lake. Without water, there is no lake. There is no dependency when the money is not there and I still exist. We have to understand deeply. It has a very deeper message. Outer conditions are fleeting. The real change comes from within. If I feel that I have a lot of money and I'll be happy, not possible. This is what it means. I have my honey according to my imagination. It is not possible. Are you getting it? Did I tell you the story? One of my classmates long back in my school days, he went to some eastern country. There he did his engineering. He returned back to India and he said, I have 24 criteria for my honey. So after a few months, he found that 22 criteria are met. So he found a soulmate in a European country. They got married. So after 6 months, he was deported from that country. I said, what happened? Oh, my honey deported me. What happened to your 24 criteria? Outer conditions are not the surety, not the condition. I just made it, it took me 2 years to take him out of the depression. Now he got remarried and he's living a good life. So sometime I punch a line. How many criteria you have decided now? No, don't talk about it. We talk almost, every once a while, almost every week for a few minutes. You see that. Outer conditions is not a criteria to be happy, peaceful. Inner conditions. Outer conditions they are fleeting. They are fleeting, my friends. And the same way, my youth is fleeting. Childhood is fleeting. Old age is also fleeting. So that is what the master is pointing out. The worldly pleasures are temporary. I have to change my mindset. I have not to change the mind. I have not to change the outer world conditions. What happens when the youth passes? with age, lustful attraction and the passion naturally decrease. Natural. It's a natural phenomena, my friends. Again, I'm stressing again. Those who follow the nature and the natural laws, they live happily. You understand what I'm saying? Youthful beauty and the pleasures are temporary. Focus on the eternal truth. In old age, the desire for the sensual and the romantic relationship fades away. If they are not fading away, means what? You think. That is, your mind has to think about it. What remains when a lake dries up? This is the meaning. This is the meaning. And we continue to get obsessed with the same thing again and again. I know it goes against the American so-called values. I don't want to talk about Viagra, but it goes against the American values. I'm naturally aging. I do not have a control over it. Can I respect it? No, just, don't get upset. Worldly possessions and gains are transient. What I'm talking about, this 10th verse, they will eventually diminish. Who remains when the wealth is gone? Think about it. My ego remains? Then I will have lot of problem. I will start speaking a lie and lot of things will happen. Remember, think of this, my friends. Don't remain attached to it. No clinging on anything outside. This is what the verse says. And this comes because of living unconsciously. Same 7 factors have come up. So when these 7 factors are there, I have to get rid of it. You have to contemplate and reflect again. Vayasi, what it says, Vayasi gatih kam vikara. Vayasi, the youth, that youthfulness has gone. The way I used to run, I cannot run to that level. But yes, in order to keep health, let me do the jogging. But don't try to imagine that I have the same, my all anabolic and catabolic processes are still working as it was working at the age of 20 or 21. Not possible. Not possible. When anabolic processes and when the catabolic processes slows down, that is where the disease erupts after 50 or 50s or 60s. It is a natural process. What I have done in the youth, I have to pay now. But I can arrest it. First, I have to change my process. Sushke nire kohak asara. When there is no water in the river, it is not known as the river. That is the meaning. Think of it. Sometimes we have money, sometimes we don't have money. I should not attach myself to that. Jnati tattvehi ka sansara. Now he is joining this. When I have a knowledge, all the delusion is gone. Where is the question of delusion? I live in freedom. I live into that state of freedom which gives me the peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom all the time. That is the meaning. So think again, youth, wealth, family will inevitably fade away. Focus, effort, instead on the timeless truth of the existence. That is what the Eastern wisdom is. So once I remember that timeless wisdom is there, the life changes. Equanimity comes. Equanimity is there in the face of the loss. Clarity unclouded by clinging or aversion. Sense of meaning and the purpose enters into my life, and I change my life completely. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed, and being comfortable, my friends, and being carefree. Remember, being comfortable is what? Being carefree is what? You know it clearly. Body is steady. You are happily entering into the meditation. That is the meaning of being comfortable and carefree. And if none of these 7 factors are there, what will happen? None of these 7 factors are there, what will happen? Or minimum, at least you are aware of it, even if they are present deeply, but on the surface it is not there. You are comfortable and carefree. And then we will continue. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. But you have to take this phrase understanding that happiness is the essential nature of everything in this cosmos. So what happens? Emotional dependence. What happens to emotional dependence? What happens to distraction? Distraction because I'm seeking so many things at the same time. What happens to the first factor, the foolishness? That is how the contemplation and reflection works in life. That is how we realign these principles in our life through an intellectual understanding that gives rise to a new level of awareness. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. As a seeker, now you know what is the importance of singing these verses. May there be peace for all. Your mind, your intellect goes very deeper. It enters into a subtle and a higher awareness. Oh, peace is the essential nature of everyone. Even who is becoming angry at this time, peace is still there. Anger hides it. Anger cannot destroy the peace. Now, how do you know? My honey is always angry. Even your honey goes to peace after anger. That shows peace is our essential nature. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu, not Mangalam. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. That is the third line. May there be completeness in all. Completeness. Completeness means you have dropped all the 7 factors. You have to contemplate in that way. A sense of completeness, no emotional dependence, no selfishness, no distraction, no foolishness, etc. That is the sense of completeness. Sarvesham Puranam Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be an auspiciousness. So now, when the peace, happiness, and completeness are my essential nature, that state of the mind lives in auspiciousness, and it perceives the same auspiciousness in others. You see, the entire perception of the world and the relations have changed in your mind. It awakens you to a higher consciousness, results into a state of mindfulness. Yeah, we can have that state, but don't bring the ego. We continue the journey. No, no, I have done it, I have achieved it. Who says selfishness? Why it is saying out of one out of the seven factors is trying to trigger your mind. No, no, go back. And that is why we do the breathing to purify the mind. We don't allow the ignorance to exist at all. How to know it? I'll tell you later. Look inside the forehead in the space and Om Shanti, body is steady, and start breathing into the rib cage through the nostrils, paying attention to the flow of the breath. Continue breathing, paying attention to the flow of the breath. The stillness continues in the body. And Om Shanti also. You will find a flow, natural flow of the breath on Om Shanti, natural flow of the mind on the body, stillness, a natural flow of the breath. Harmony. My friends, harmony. Continue breathing into the rib cage. Check the flow of the breath. Stillness continues and the mantra continues inside your forehead. And also check the resistance. If the mind has a resistance, it is because of the 7 factors. So you endure the resistance. How? By the 8th factor, you are challenging the false assumption to live in peace and happiness. Enduring. Enduring means I continue to do it. I will continue to do it because you inspire yourself and the breathing continues. Continue checking the flow of the breath. If you do it for a longer period, you will discover the flow of the breath becomes equal. It's a mystery. Not a mystery, I won't use the word mystery. It is the way the tantra practices works. This is, I have taken it from, the step is from the tantra. And stop it. Pay attention on the flow of the breath only. But yes, you have variety of experiences of tingling, of numbness, of freezing of the body. That is okay. Be with that. Accept and recognize these changes. So we don't know how much the impurities are there in the mind. So when you do it for a longer period, these breathing. So first there comes a resistance, and then the mind wants to rebel, and we endure it, and then we reach to a deeper state. That is the way it works. So now looking inside the forehead in the space, and you do Om Shanti there and start breathing into the belly. Longer breath. Every time you inhale, belly goes out. Every time you exhale, the belly goes in, but in the state of steadiness in the body, in the state of dropping Om Shanti inside the forehead. Continue breathing. Today we have done the first breathing 7 minutes because the mind is ready and we can do it. We don't feel any challenge. If the mind is not ready, we cannot do it. You already know that how I have been going slowly. Slow and the steady wins the race. Continue. Continue breathing, no stopping in between. Accept the changes in experience. If there any resistance, endure it and continue. Now these practices are not for the non-seekers. There is a disclaimer for them. Continue breathing deep, long into the belly. Om Shanti, steadiness in the body continues. Continue, my friends, the breathing. And stop it. Pay attention to the flow of the breath and accept and recognize the changes, the freezing body, the numbness, calmness. At that moment, not only you pay attention to the flow of the breath, with that flow of the breath, you start dropping the Om Shanti on the 16 segments of it, of four fingers. Shanti. And just have a cursory look at the flow of the breath. Shanti. And again, you look at the flow of the breath. Shanti. So you will see they both align together. Flow the breath. Shanti. You're dropping Shanti, but flow the breath, you are aware. You can see the mind living in the wisdom keeps the body steady. You're dropping Shanti naturally and the flow of the breath. Are you not living in a higher awareness? Tell me. It is here and now. Now leave this looking inside the cave of your heart, the triangle, equilateral triangle of any color pointing upward, and moving the mind on the side of a triangle. Om Shanti. Checking the whether you can sync by moving it clockwise and anti-clockwise. You're syncing because it tells the quality of the mind. So the mind is already living within. That is what we check by moving the mind on a triangle clockwise and anti-clockwise. It is not subjected by the past impressions, which is already stored. Today, at this moment. And when that happens, pushes the mind deep inside the cave of your heart. You feel the mind seemingly stops and you drop the Shanti and absorption. You are just into that state. You may feel as if a sense of bodilessness and other experiences. You may find the flow of the breath becomes equal. A lot of changes takes place gradually, progressively at the outer level because we have found that one all pervading consciousness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences. And if you have any question, how are you, Samir?
It was very, deep, and one thing I did, uh, as you told, no, Sarve Sham Mangalam Bhavtu, Sarve Sham. I thought about all the people I hated in my life,
Good.
and I thought, Unka bhi mangal ho.
Yes. Let they all be blessed with whom I have an enmity. That changes the perception. That's a wonderful. That's a way of contemplation. Wonderful. Beautiful. How are you, David?
Morning. Wonderful lesson. I really absorbed that and will reflect on it again. And the practice was very, very simple, pure, fast. There was a couple of moments of going off track with thoughts, but I was very quickly able to come back into and not criticize or pick on myself for, going off track. So it was really smooth. It seemed like it was like 5 minutes long. So thank you.
Beautiful, yeah. When we move seamlessly into the practice of the meditation, it takes away all of our negativity also. We don't find that sense of that holds on into the mind. That's a beautiful. How are you, Brandy?
Hi, I'm good. I realized doing the meditation today, I know you sometimes say like it doesn't take a practice to get there. But I do think for me anyway, sometimes it takes some or all the steps, right, that we're talking about in these lessons. And so I took a good part of that. But then when you said something about bodilessness, I was like, oh yeah, I have a body. So I didn't even realize that I had shifted out of it.
Yes, yes, that is what happens in a higher level of awareness, and that results into a higher level of discernment. We constantly know that we are not the body. Beautiful. How are you, Terry? You had a smile on your face. I was seeing that.
I don't know if I can put it into words.
Good.
I experience, I paid full, very 100% all my speeches. Okay, wait. 100% attention.
Good.
And I experience both failure and success.
Yeah.
I noticed, but at the end, I had a very good feeling.
Very good.
So I know that I did some progress.
Yes, yes. We have to focus on, you have to focus on again and again through contemplation and reflection that you are not the body.
Yeah, the lake, I like that idea. The lake is not full, but not yet empty.
Yes, yes.
The water level is low, but there is water there. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's really good. Stephen has gone? No, Stephen. Yes, Dennis.
Thank you. Deep meditation. At the end, the stillness was not only in the body, but also in the mind. I experienced
Good.
Very, very still state that was not running anywhere, not wanting anywhere, just remaining.
That is what we say, the mind merges into the consciousness. That is how we experience the mind, the stillness of the mind. Beautiful. How are you, Barbara? You have to unmute. You have to unmute. Barbara, unmute. Barbara, unmute. I muted during the session because I heard unusual sound. So I can unmute, but I cannot. I muted it, but I cannot unmute. I don't see you have unmuted. No, you have not unmuted. You have not unmuted. Look at this, computer comes in between our meditation. Try to unmute. In the meantime, I will go to Christina. Yes, you have done it.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Usually I don't mute it because the way my microphone works, it doesn't work when I don't plug it in. So anyway, I was going to say that the meditation was very deep and very peaceful for me. Going into the meditation, I had a cold, but now it seems like I don't have any symptoms. I just feel refreshed.
Yes, yes. When we transcend the body and the mind, we have that feeling. This is wonderful. This is another good experience. How are you, Christina?
Namaste. I like the word bodilessness. It really described and describes the experience of completely being separate, and thoughts stopped, and I felt like I could sit there and breathe and go on forever.
Very good. Continue and go forever means there's a deeper state. Beautiful. How are you, sir? Sam?
Namaste, sir. At the beginning, it felt like, take similar to Brandy, take the body away. Sitting there, feel like there are forces, as I've been working on my balance and using less support to sit in the chair. It feels like there are forces that are trying to take me this way, take me that way, and using the breathing helped me find stability. And by the end, I felt sturdy and foundational in the ground and grounded in my legs and my body. So that's what I felt today.
Good. Yeah, when you feel the grounded, obviously the mind lives deeper within. And today we did 7 minutes of the first breathing. That's why we did only 2. First was the 7 minutes and second was the 6 minutes. So it has become an easy process for you. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. So the practice was absorbed. I was absorbed in the practice, and there was an awareness. And then mind triggered that old principle that you talked about, the awareness of the awareness. It recalled that, and that made me to not to distract to anything else, and also keeping me to this awareness, and also realizing that I don't have to feel ego about it, that I am here right now. So my ego was also not there, and my awareness was intact to this. So there was no distraction inside.
Yes, it's quite a deeper principle that I discussed a couple of weeks ago, awareness of awareness. So in that awareness of awareness as such, there is no ego, as you mentioned. And if the ego takes over, then the things, they starts. So that's a beautiful way to put it. Beautiful. How are you, Sangeeta?
सर बहुत पीसफुल था, एकदम एब्जॉर्ब था, अभी भी वैसे ही.
Yeah, she was totally absorbed and she feels totally at calmness. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We'll meet again next session.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.